Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the DX King Excalibur and King of Arthur Wonder Ride book set. The box is pretty massive. As you can see, I can't quite fit it in frame all at the same time. It is a massive sword roleplay toy that turns into a robot, and then it also includes the King of Arthur Wonder Ride book, and then it has a small armor piece to clip onto the RKF figure for Saber, so he can have the armor like he's used the book, which is actually pretty neat. So, pretty massive box. If we take a look on this side, we just see a picture of the sword and the robot. Over here, another picture of the robot, and then of course the sword mode with the book. Not really too much going on the top, again just showing off all the pieces that are included. Bottom, really just safety warnings and whatnot. And then around on the back just shows again, sword mode, robot mode. The robot/sword makes sounds on its own, plus the book also makes sounds. And then down here it shows you, of course, we're going to check out the book and the sword driver, and then we have the little armor piece for the RKF Saber toy. So we'll take a look at all of that. Batteries for everything are included. It looks like there are 4 batteries, so there's 2 in the book and 2 in the sword/robot. So pretty neat. Let's go ahead. We'll get everything out of the box, and we'll take a closer look. Alright, so here's the robot out of the packaging, and I apologize, this guy is really, really tall, and it's going to be awkward to try to fit him into the review station, but I'll do the best that I can. So here he is in the robot mode, pretty much how he comes packed. His arms are kind of weird in the box, like this arm is kind of like bent down and around, but all you have to do is just kind of move this around. You can see that he's got nice ratchet here in the shoulder. He does have a bicep swivel. He's got a little over 90 degrees maybe in the elbow there, and then he's got wrist swivel over here. On this side, he's got kind of a weird grabber claw, as you can see. It's a little awkward, but you'll see why that has to be like that a little bit later on when we turn the RKF figure into the sword for him. Head actually can move side to side, which is nice. He's got a lot of paint applications. I think the gold and the silver look good. I like the red for the eyes. Kind of neat. He's got kind of a weird flat back, which is kind of strange. He's got this button on the back for sounds. This is where you pull the tab out. This is where the batteries go. Here's the speaker. Some other buttons and knobs for the sword transformation that you'll see in a moment. If I pan down a little bit, you can see his legs. They're pretty basic. There's not really too much going on for the legs, but I wanted to at least show them off. They'll come into play more for the sword mode. He does also have this piece which is going to become the armor bit for the Saber RKF figure. But you can take this and clip it onto the bottom of the sword if you want to give it a kind of double-bladed look. So that is a possibility. I'm going to take it back off because I don't really like the look of that. I like just the sword. If it's supposed to be Excalibur, Excalibur didn't have a crazy bottom blade piece. But hey, they give you some options, so not too bad. He does also have the ability to, let me think about how we have to do this. You bend this and turn the wrists in, and then you can see how he has a hole here on the side of the fist, and then you open up the grabber claw, and then kind of situate that in there, and then you can bring this down, and there's actually a connection in here for this, and you bring this down, and then this will lift up and click into place there. And then you can have it so that he's holding the sword. And I think that's kind of a cool look. It's essential for the sword transformation. It's basically halfway done. But I do like the look of that. It's kind of just like, you know, he's a sentry, he's standing guard, holding the sword like that, I think is pretty cool. If you want to remove that, you have to unpeg the bottom one down here and then hold this down, and then that comes away. And then you can open this back up and then spin this around. So he does have some sounds. You can see this button down here, so I'll press that. Okay. And then I think he has one more. I think that's for later on when we turn Saber into the sword. We'll get to that a little bit later. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this guy on his own in robot mode. Decent articulation, decent paint applications, and a couple cool sound effects. Alright, so transforming him into the sword, we're going to take the head and turn it 180 degrees. And then you can see there's a little bit of space here. This is actually going to rock back all the way like so. You're going to take those arms again and rotate it around so that he's holding the sword in front of his body again. Open up that grabber claw, set that all up, bring that in, lift it up so it clicks in, and then push it in down there as well. There you go. You're going to come around to the back and you see this large button right here. You're going to push that in and hold it. And then this will rotate around and click into place like that. You're pretty much all the way done at this point. For whatever reason, you're going to take this and push this in, and then this is going to click a little bit like that. It doesn't do much. I guess it technically aligns the sword with the one leg a little bit more. And let me see what I can do as far as getting this like this. And then at that point, you're just going to turn the leg like that. And then that's it. That is the sword transformation. I'm going to adjust the camera a little bit. Alright, so at this point we have the sword. You can see that there is a trigger here on the inside of the leg. I don't know why that's the sound effect they decided to go with. But you can see, it's a decent sized little sword. I think this thing's kind of goofy as a guard. You can really, I guess you can turn it this much or this much, whatever you think looks better. If you press this like at least 3 times. Oh, maybe it's 4 times. There we go. I thought it was 3 or 4 times, but apparently it's just a bunch of times in succession you get that King Slash attack sound. So that's the same sound effect. It's the transformation jingle again. I may be wrong, but Diago Speedy, doesn't that sound familiar? Is it the same jingle from Diago Speedy? I have to go back and listen to it again. Sounds familiar, though. So yeah, it doesn't matter what mode you're in, it's the exact same 3 sounds, so... So pretty cool sound effects. Now you do have this thing here to jam the book in, but it just makes the book play a sound. It doesn't make the sword play a sound. It's not really that exciting, but you can do that. I thought it was supposed to make this play a sound like it does in most of the others, like Buster or Kenzan's swords, but not the case. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the sword mode. Yeah. I'm going to transform him back into the robot, but first let's take a look at the armor for the RKF for Saber. Alright, so here's our RKF figure for Saber, and we will bring in the armor piece, as you can see here. Now, if you can slide this on, you don't have to take this apart, but I find it's a little bit easier to take it apart. So I'm just going to pop this ball joint and then pop this piece off. It just has that kind of curved peg that pegs in there. Now, this has 2 pegs, and there's 2 peg holes on his back. I wish this was a little bit more secure. It pegs in and it stays on decent, but I feel like it could be more sturdy. Now this piece down here is supposed to act as like his kind of second skirt piece, but it's a little bent. And I wish it wasn't as bent as much as it is, so it would look a little better, but as it is, it's not too bad. Bringing this in, and then we will clip this back on where it is supposed to go. And then clipping this piece on, and then there you go. I mean, it's okay. It's not amazing. We'll give him that second sword so he can dual wield. And there we go. So not bad. It doesn't look too bad. It's not amazing, but it works. Like I said, I wish this wasn't as bent and kind of laid back a little bit more, but other than that, I think it looks pretty neat. And I know I had some people ask, can you use this with other RKFs besides Saber? I mean, maybe. I tried to take a look at it, and and now I'm completely blank. Blades. I was completely blanking on his name there for a second. With Blades, because he has the chest piece, like this piece won't really work. And also there's like tails in the back. It won't clip in that well. There's not really clearance. Obviously with Espada, he's already got something on this side, so that's not really going to work. You could maybe clip it onto Kenzan. And then Buster, I think his armor's too bulky. So it's really only meant to work with Saber. You could try to force it onto some of the others, but I really think Kenzan's the only one that you might have a chance with. Unfortunately, I just don't have him handy to try it, but he's the only one that doesn't really have, bulky armor that you could actually probably clip this onto. But it doesn't really make sense because he doesn't have a driver to use it, so I don't really know that he would even try to use it. But I really don't think it's going to work with Blades or Espada, unfortunately. But, for Saber here, it looks pretty decent. Now, of course, there's one little bit of functionality that we have to take a look at. So if we bring RKF Saber back in, and I'm going to take both of the swords out of his hands. And then this piece down here, which was acting as the second skirt, is actually going to move all the way up. And I'll hopefully not pop off the backpack while I do this. And then we can position his head so that it lines up. And again, mine's a little bent, so it's not going to work out perfectly. But you can see that that's meant to kind of unify him into one sword there. And then we can kind of put these down like so. And then he's got this connection piece here. And then the crazy grabber claw is going to grab onto that. Now I guess we kind of actually have to get the hands out of the way so that he can grab him around the waist. And then make sure that goes in there. And there you go. Now he is holding Saber as a sword. It's very goofy looking, but it does work. And it would work better if this piece wasn't so bent. I really need to work on that. It came in the package so bent, and that's just kind of a bummer. But yes, he can use him as a sword. It looks ridiculous, but it can be done. It's the weirdest bit of functionality I think they've come up with in some time. But it is possible. I just wish, like I said, that this worked a little bit better, but you can at least see what they're going for. There you go. If I hold it sideways, it kind of looks like it matches up perfectly. But yeah, so there's him using him as a blade. Alright, so let's take a look at the King of Arthur Wonder Ride book. First off, King of Arthur. I don't know. It's kind of a weird name, but we'll go with it. As you can see, it is meant to go in the third slot on the driver, so that is all the way to the right if you're looking at it, all the way to the left if you're wearing it. It is a full DX book. We have the speaker, the batteries are included. You pull the tab. Here's a little silver book icon that has the chip for the sword to read. I mean, the cover's kind of neat. It's just Excalibur planted in the rock. Kind of cool. Go ahead and open it up. Alright, there we go. So you really don't need the sword. You can just hit that button with your finger. So that whole functionality with jamming it into that one spot on the sword seems completely useless to me. We'll go ahead and pop this open. And then you can see he does have the arm wearing that piece of armor and the sword for when he pops it into the driver. So, very cool. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the sword driver and we'll try it out. Alright, let's pop it in. I know O means king, but it really just sounds like Arthur O. Sounds like the name of a Sentai mech, and I love it. All right, next up we'll bring in Brave Dragon. So honestly, your mileage is going to vary with this guy. Do you need another giant Kamen Rider transforming robot? That's going to be up to you. I think he's okay. I don't think he's the worst one we got. I kind of think he's more exciting than the Time Machine because that had a transformation that was kind of worthless. This one at least turns into a sword. It's not the best Toku robot sword transformation we've ever had. I would probably give that to Sentinel Knight from Power Rangers or whatever he was called in Bokenger. But this one's okay. He's got some decent articulation. He's got some decent pain applications. I like this kind of like holding the sword like a stalwart defender pose that he can pull off. I think that's kind of cool. But then if you open that up and you have him actually wield the sword, it works. He's got wrist articulation, elbows, bicep swivels, more than I expected. So yeah, he's got a decent amount of articulation. He's got a couple sound effects. Not amazing, but okay. The armor piece for the RKF Saber is, again, not bad. I think it's actually a little bit better than I expected. Not amazing, but decent. I think the main draw for this is going to be the DX King of Arthur Wonder Ride book. So if that's something you don't really care about at all and you're just content to go grab yourself a Gashapon or Candy Toy version, you can save yourself a bunch of money. I don't think this is a terrible set. I just think it's okay. I don't think it's so amazing that, I can't recommend it to you enough and go pick it up and you need it immediately. No, I don't think so. I think it's a decent robot with a decent sword transformation and the decent little armor piece. It's all very average, in my opinion. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's just kind of here. There's fun to be had. I don't think there's everlasting fun, but it's okay. You'll have the DX Arthur book in your collection, and that's probably why you bought it in the first place. So there's that. Maybe wait for a sale for this one or find it secondhand on Mandarake, something like that. I don't remember exactly what this cost. I don't think it was too ridiculous. But if you could find this whole set for like $20 on Mandarake, I bet it's worth that. I think that's fine. He's a giant robot. It's really quite large, so it's got that going for it. But yeah, overall, lukewarm feelings on this one. I don't love it. I don't hate it. There's some redeeming qualities, but ultimately, I don't think you're going to get a ton of playability out of it. Certainly for collectors, you'll probably put it on the shelf and never touch it again, let's be honest. But you do get the DX version of the King of Arthur Wonder Ride book, which I believe is exclusive to this set. So if that's something you need, if you're really going for an all possible DX books situation, you're going to have to grab this one. But like I said, maybe wait for a sale or, you know, pick it up. Or maybe if someone's selling the book by itself, go for that. But otherwise, you could probably find this set on Mandarake for $20 in a couple months or something like that. Might be your best bet. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks for watching.